Girl by O. Henry. In gold letters on the frosted glass of the door to room number 962, it said, Robbins and Hartley, brokers. The clerks had left. It was past 5 o'clock, and with the steady footsteps of a group of large draft horses, cleaning women were entering the tall 20-story office building. A gust of hot air, smelling like lemon peels, coal smoke, and oil, came through the partly open windows. Robbins, who was 50, a bit overweight, and liked going to events and hotel lounges, pretended to be jealous of his partner's suburban life.
"It's going to be really hot and humid tonight,"
he said.
"You out-of-town folks will be the lucky ones, with your crickets, moonlight, cool drinks, and relaxing on the front porch."
Hartley, who was 29, serious, thin, good-looking, and a bit nervous, sighed and frowned slightly.
"Yes,"
he said.
"We always have cool nights in Floralhurst, especially in the winter."
In that moment, a mysterious-looking man entered the room and approached Hartley.
"I've found where she lives,"
he said in a serious half-whisper, the kind that makes detectives seem important to others. Hartley gave him a stern look, making him fall into a silent, calm state. But by then, Robbins had grabbed his walking stick, adjusted his tie pin to his liking, and with a casual nod, left for his city entertainments.
"Here's the address,"
said the detective in a normal tone, since he no longer had an audience to impress. Hartley took the piece of paper torn from the detective's worn-out notebook. On it were the words, Vivian Arlington, number 341 East Street, care of Mrs. McComas, written in pencil.
"She moved there a week ago,"
said the detective.
"Now, if you need someone to follow her, Mr. Hartley, I can do as good a job as anyone in the city. It will only cost $7 a day, plus expenses. I can send in a daily typed report."
"You don't need to continue,"
interrupted Hartley.
"It's not that kind of situation. I just needed the address. How much do I owe you?"
"1 day's work,"
said the detective.
$10 will cover it."
Hartley paid the man and sent him on his way. Then he left the office and got on a Broadway streetcar. At the first major cross street, he took an eastbound car that dropped him off in a run-down neighborhood, where the old buildings once housed the wealthy and important people of the city. After walking a few blocks, he reached the building he was looking for. It was a new apartment house. Carved into the cheap stone entrance of the building was its impressive name, the Vallombrosa. Fire escapes crisscrossed down the front, crowded with household items, drying clothes, and noisy children escaping the summer heat. Hartley pressed the button labeled McComas. The door latch clicked uncertainly, sometimes welcoming, sometimes hesitant, as if unsure whether it was letting in friends or bill collectors. Hartley entered and began to climb the stairs in the manner of someone searching for a friend in a city apartment building, like a boy climbing an apple tree, stopping when he finds what he wants. On the 4th floor, he saw Vivienne standing in an open doorway. She invited him inside with a nod and a bright, genuine smile. She placed a chair for him near a window and gracefully sat down too. Hartley quickly glanced at her, appreciating her appearance before speaking, and told himself that his choice had been perfect. Vivienne was about 21 years old, of the purest Saxon type. Her hair was a reddish-golden color, each strand in the neatly gathered mass shining with its own light and subtle shades. Her clear ivory complexion and deep sea-blue eyes matched perfectly, looking at the world with the innocent calmness of a mermaid or a playful fairy from a hidden mountain stream. Her body was strong yet naturally graceful. Despite her northern clarity and straightforward appearance, there seemed to be something tropical about her, something relaxed in her posture, a love of ease in the way she contentedly breathed, as if she had the natural right to exist and be admired, like a rare flower or a beautiful milk-white dove among plainer companions. She was dressed in a white blouse and dark skirt, a careful blend of simplicity and elegance.
Vivian,
Said Hartley, looking at her pleadingly.
you didn't answer my last letter. It took me nearly a week to find out where you had moved. Why have you kept me in suspense when you knew how anxiously I was waiting to see and hear from you?
The girl gazed dreamily out the window.
Mr. Hartley,
She said hesitantly.
I don't know what to say. I understand all the benefits of your offer, and sometimes I feel sure that I could be happy with you, but then I have doubts. I was born a city girl, and I'm afraid of committing to a quiet suburban life.
My dear girl,
Said Hartley passionately.
haven't I told you that you will have everything your heart desires that I can give you? You will be able to come to the city for the theater, shopping, and visiting friends as often as you like. You can trust me, can't you?
To the fullest.
She said, looking at him with a smile.
I know you're the kindest man, and the girl who you get will be very lucky. I learned all about you when I was at the Montgomery house.
Ah,
Hartley said with a tender, nostalgic look in his eyes.
I remember the evening I first saw you. Mrs. Montgomery was praising you all night. She didn't do you justice. I'll never forget that dinner. Come, Vivian, promise me. I want you. You won't regret coming with me. No one else will give you as pleasant a home as mine.
The girl sighed and looked down at her folded hands. A sudden, jealous suspicion gripped Hartley.
Tell me, Vivian,
He asked, studying her closely.
is there someone else?
A rosy blush slowly spread over her cheeks and neck.
You shouldn't ask that, Mr. Hartley.
She said, looking a bit embarrassed.
But I will tell you. There is one other man, but he has no claim on me. I haven't promised him anything.
His name?
Hartley asked firmly.
Townsend.
Rafford Townsend.
Hartley exclaimed, his jaw tightening with anger.
How did that man come to know you, after all I've done for him?
His car has just stopped outside.
Vivian said, leaning over the windowsill.
He's coming for his answer. Oh, I don't know what to do.
The bell in the flat's kitchen rang. Vivian hurried to press the door button.
Stay here.
Hartley said.
I'll meet him in the hall.
Townsend, dressed in light tweeds, a Panama hat, and with a curling black mustache, came up the stairs quickly. He stopped when he saw Hartley and looked surprised.
Go back,
Hartley said firmly, pointing downstairs.
Hello.
Townsend said, pretending to be surprised.
What's going on? What are you doing here, old man?
Go back.
Hartley repeated firmly.
She's mine.
I came to see a plumber about the bathroom.
Townsend said bravely.
All right.
Hartley said.
You can have that lying excuse to cover your disloyalty, but go back.
Townsend went downstairs, leaving a bitter remark that echoed up the stairs. Hartley turned back to his objective.
Vivian,
He said firmly.
I must have you. I won't accept any more refusals or delays.
When do you want me?
She asked.
Now, as soon as you can get ready.
Vivian stood calmly and looked him in the eye.
Do you really think,
She said.
that I would move into your home while Haloise is still there?
Hartley flinched as if struck by an unexpected blow. He crossed his arms and paced the room a few times.
She will leave.
He said determinedly, sweat forming on his brow.
Why should I let her make my life miserable? I've never had a day of freedom since the day I met her. You're right, Vivian. Eloise must go before I can take you home. But she will leave. I've decided. I will send her away.
When?
Vivian asked. Hartley clenched his teeth and furrowed his brows.
Tonight,
He said firmly.
I will send her away tonight.
Then.
Vivian said.
My answer is yes. Come for me whenever you're ready.
She looked into his eyes with a sweet, sincere expression. Hartley could hardly believe how quickly and completely she had agreed.
Promise me,
He said earnestly.
on your word and honor.
On my word and honor.
Vivian repeated softly. At the door, Hartley looked at her happily but with a hint of disbelief in his joy.
Tomorrow,
He said, lifting a finger to remind her.
Tomorrow.
She repeated with a smile of sincerity. An hour and 40 minutes later, Hartley got off the train at Floralhurst. A brisk walk of 10 minutes brought him to the gate of a beautiful 2-story house set on a well-kept lawn. Halfway to the house, he was greeted by a woman with jet black braided hair and a flowing white summer dress. She hugged him tightly without explanation. When they entered the hall, she said,
Mama's here. The car will pick her up in half an hour. She came for dinner, but there is no dinner.
I have something to tell you,
Hartley said.
I plan to break it to you gently, but since your mother is here, we might as well get it over with.
He leaned in and whispered something in her ear. His wife screamed with joy. Her mother rushed into the hall. The dark-haired woman screamed again, a joyful scream from someone who is well-loved and pampered.
Oh, Mama.
She exclaimed with excitement.
Guess what? Vivian is coming to cook for us. She's the one who stayed with the Montgomerys for a whole year. And now, dear,
She added to Hartley.
you must go down to the kitchen and fire Heloise. She's been drunk all day.